Never run out of battery again with the INIU portable charger, the slimmest 10,000 milliamp hour power bank that keeps your devices charged on the go. Stay powered up wherever you go. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
How my son's birthday party made me realize its parents. Fault kids are getting fatter, we must take action now. We are getting so fat that nearly 50 million of us in this country will be classed as overweight or obese by 2050. A new report has shown that unless drastic action is taken, 6 in 10 adults and a third of youngsters around the world will be so fat they will be putting their health at risk. And that is terrifying. There are so many factors we could blame for our children getting fatter. There's the external influences, the chicken shops near the school gates, the adverts preying on our children via social media, and the sweets tempting kiddies in supermarkets. But really, the only people to blame are their parents. It is mums and dads, just like me, who are guilty of putting their children's health in danger. We are a generation who should be doing a better job of educating and encouraging our kids to make better choices, but often don't. When my working mom's guilt gets the better of me, I take my son for an ice cream or give him his favorite food of pizza. When I'm in a rush, there's nothing better than delivering up some microwave chips in a couple of minutes. And the more that you give, the more they want. It's not their fault, they are children. I recently put on a party for my son's 6th birthday, and looking back, the spread at the Plea Center was an obesity-fueled heart attack of the future. There were chicken nuggets, the highly processed kind with barely any actual chicken that would horrify Jamie Oliver, some greasy chips and rubber pizza. For dessert, there were biscuits, lollies, and a slushie for the birthday boy. In the goodie bags, there were thick slices of cake. Luckily, my son isn't overweight yet, but there was probably more fat and sugar than your average adult should have in a week, and that horrifies me. When I had my 6th birthday party, it was much healthier. Cheese sarnies, maybe some jelly with mandarins in, you get the idea. We never whinged because we were all eating the same thing. Yes, it may have been easier for parents back in the 80s. They were often stay-at-home mums who didn't have kids bugging them to go to a milkshake bar or hoping for Haribos in a party bag, because they hadn't yet been invented. But after seeing this new obesity report, I realized that, as difficult as it may be for the parents of today, many of us need to overhaul our parenting skills. If we are going to stop our kids dying from diabetes in the future, it is us, the parents, who need to grab hold of the situation. No excuses. I don't plan to start feeding my child mung beans at his 7th birthday party, because he really wouldn't thank me for that. But I am going to stop using food, mainly sugar and fat, as a treat and take more control of his diet, because he can't do it for himself. Otherwise, by 2050, he could be one of the millions riddled with obesity. And no child is ever going to thank their parents for that, either. Camerondiaz was on the front row for Stella McCartney's Paris Fashion Week show and looked like a smoldering lady in red, until you focused on her feet. The actress wore the designer's shoes to match her outfit, and it looked like style queen Anna Wintour was trying to put as much space as possible between herself and the offensive footwear. I really do hope the square-toe heels don't filter down to the high street to become a new must-have. They are revolting. Cameron looked more panto dame than Hollywood A-lister. Crossbow killer Kyle Clifford is possibly one of the most evil men this country has ever known, and it disgusts me that this week he was not dragged into court. He ripped apart a family like something in a horror film. After his girlfriend Louise Hunt dumped him, he went to her home and murdered her as well as her mum and sister in a final act of spite. What a sick, twisted monster. He later tried to kill himself with his crossbow but sadly failed. He was paralyzed from the chest down. At Cambridge Crown Court, he exercised his right not to attend when he was found guilty of raping Louise, even though the trial was held there so he could be wheeled into the dock. He refused to even watch from his prison cell. The judge praised Louise's dad, BBC racing commentator John Hunt, and his surviving daughter for their dignity and restraint. Clifford should have been made to face them in that courtroom. Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood says the law will soon change so reasonable force can be used to get criminals into the dock for sentencing. I hope this goes through swiftly because, right now, criminals are being allowed to make an absolute mockery of the system. This week, I interviewed Chloe Brockett about her life on Toei. I was expecting her to be a stroppy little madam, but couldn't have been more wrong. She was sweet, emotional, and refreshingly straight-talking. I liked her a lot. And I applaud her for signing up to OnlyFans and posing in her underwear to pay the bills. It angers me that some people have knocked her for that when there are millions sitting at home claiming benefits, who simply can't be bothered to work. I know which is the classier option. I only watched a few minutes of the first episode of Netflix's With Love, Megan. Not because I am above watching trivial rubbish, I love it, but because unlike Meghan Markle, who seems to have time on her hands to fanny about, I do not. The show made me think of her sister-in-law, Kate, who also doesn't have the time, partly thanks to Meghan, as Kate is now doing the job of two women after Harry and his wife deserted their royal duties. I imagine Kate is the happier of the two. She knows she is loyal and loving, with a sense of purpose and duty, and is surrounded by her extended family. That's something money from a trash Netflix show could never buy. I am so grateful to the TfL worker who cheered up my Tuesday morning in London. On the tube Tannoy at Moorgate Station, he told all passengers to have a lovely day and to smile. And we did. There were smiles all round for one another. It's often the little things in life that make a difference. Scrawny Demi Moore looked at the Oscars as though she'd been on the Ozempic diet. According to her social media, she celebrated missing out on an award by scoffing 2 giant bowls of chips. There's a lot about age-defying Demi which is fake, surely that post included. Captain Sir Tom Moore's daughter is releasing another book to cash in on his name. This time it is a book about coping with death, mainly his. Hannah Ingram Moore is self-publishing it, most likely using some of the huge sum of money she selfishly pocketed from a previous book deal. And presumably, because no publisher would rush to print it. The woman is shameless. I hate to think what her poor father would think of it all.